Nick, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm alright.
I'm blessed.
That's amazing, man. So are we. So we're blessed to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Um, so we've had a nice chat with the ladies, in terms of how they got here, what was their journey, what got them to decide to get here. Just wanted to dive into a bit of yours, your journey in terms of you went and you got a diploma, you know, and not only are you a person who's good at theater and acting, but you also sing. And you put all of that together. But before we even get there, just dive into why did you decide to come into this career path? What was your driver? Why did you decide, okay, this is what I want to do?
Sure. My journey. Hi, guys. Are you guys good? my journey started a bit weird, a bit later. I'm from Skumansdal in Mpumalanga, Nelspruit. It's under a town called Malelane, where little happens. So you can literally walk to the border gate of Swaziland. That's where I'm from. But I had never been until last year. Rural areas, man, nothing much happens. And it's quite very hot there. You know when it's so hot that you can only hear like the tavern like across playing like a song? That depressing. Yeah, so I went to high school. I went to primary school there, Bongogudle Primary School. Thanks to all the great teachers there. But I mean, I had never been introduced to anything in entertainment at all. And then my mom then moved me to stay in Nelspruit. And then I fell in love with music first. I remember I used to go to a church choir, used to help my conductor conduct the school choir, used to go to a prison choir, used to also help and conduct another church choir in one day. That's why I failed my grade 12. There's something to learn there. Because I was in PE touring and having some fun with some choirs. Yeah, but I fell in love with music. The painting of writing for me, being able to, sit down and think about ideas and hear melodies and harmonies, I think that's where art for me began, but I had no idea. And if I can tell you that at least in 365 days, I probably went to church rehearsing choirs 285 days. Wow. That's how much I've given in the craft and the passion of it. Because there was no acting. I had no idea where I was in Nelspruit, really. Eligazi, there was no acting. So, but my neighbor, interesting enough, his name was Utabo. He was a great baritone. He sang So he auditioned to study, they call it vocal art, classical singing. TUT. So when he was doing, I think, his post-grad, he was saying to me, because I was like, no, I want to audition, but I want to do the same thing. Because remember school choir, classical, there was a competition. I don't know if we have some singers here. There was a competition called Tirisano. It was big in the early 2000s. All school choirs did it. So they introduced classical singing where you can do solos, trios, duets, and all of that. And the guy said, no, I think... He said, you should go, but I don't think you should audition for vocal art. He said, you just look like someone who's more interesting for me. There's something called musical theater just next door. Because I literally went there and I looked at all my music. I was ready with all the songs. Then he said, no, just go and check. I went to a library. I met a beautiful Afrikaans lady called Heta that said, check something from Cats, the musical. And if some of you all know Cats, the musical. I did something from South Pacific called Younger Than Springtime. You're younger than springtime. Am I gayer than laughter? Are you younger than the winds of June? That's the song that got me in that. But I knew nothing. Guys, I knew it was just passion. I had no idea what it was. And then there was a poem you had to read because there's acting there. Some poem about love, that love hurts, love does this. Yeah. Cool, then I entered the program 3 years down the line. I did most of the lead roles there. And then they did an exchange program in America on my third year. Yes. And then I got picked as one of the 6 students to go and exchange with Muncie, Indiana. And that was my first flight, 16 hours to Atlanta, and then connecting to Muncie, Indiana. The most incredible time of my life.
The boy from Mpumalanga.
Yeah, man. The boy from the dusty streets, They had this subject called the singing actor. And that's where everything came together for me. Because whether you're Katy Perry or Brenda Fassie, what makes artists great or singers great is being able to tell a good story with the lyrics. You know, I can never believe a singer that goes on stage and I don't connect with what they're doing. So the singing actor for me became the most incredible class. Graduated, did my first show with Dion Opperman, Shaka Zulu, the musical, but they had to replace another actor because apparently he wasn't performing well. So I had to be rushed in, you know, my first job at the State Theatre, the drama theatre. And then after that, I scored Dreamgirls the musical. Dreamgirls the musical. I then, while I was sitting, I remember I was sitting with Lindiwe Bongani, who was playing Effie, the role, because I was writing some music for her. Then I got the call from Uande, from Peter Turin, saying, "Oh, actually, you got in Phantom of the Opera, you know." But I had no idea what I got in for, you know. So they called me and flew me to Cape Town, and they said, man. "Congratulations, you've become the second person of color to play the Phantom."
That's huge, guys.
In the whole world. So
huge, guys.
They'd been. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So they'd been a gentleman in Las Vegas who did it, and then it was me in Africa who did it. Then Nom Lewis became the third. Then from then on, I got my biggest show, and that's when I slowly really stopped musical theater because I felt like God had fulfilled the journey that I needed. And sometimes it's okay to stop and look at other avenues. And then I got The Lion King. But The Lion King story was also very interesting because I had auditioned for it for 3 years. And then when I met John, Stefnik, and them, I just met them for the first time. Duma knows this story. And then John and Clem and Marie were like, "We've never seen you before." I said, "I've seen you guys before." You know, they're like, "No, we've never seen you before. Are you open to flying to Disney World in Florida to do your final callback next week?" I'm like, "Oh my God, what do I do? I'm doing the Phantom. What do I do?" So we had to create a story, left, auditioned for that. Then the rest is history. Then I did Simba for 3 years in the UK tour. And then when we came back, I quit the show actually because I was tired. And I've always been that wild actor. Even now I'm wild in terms of my decisions because I believe God has bigger plans for me. And that's why the small pay I don't take, I'd rather not work. And I'm not saying you guys should, but I think compromise everything, but don't compromise your worth. Because that for me is very important. So television is something that they say when you listen to the voice of God that the rest follows. Because I landed here, I did Top Act with Samad, which landed the same role in Love by Chance, which we shot in Atlanta. And then I landed my biggest role, Skim Sam, that was very fantastic for me. Still reoccurring now. Did a lot of shows, but the biggest one for me, not the biggest, but the most interesting that I'm at now is Seven the Land, in terms of how I've been able to act in a language I don't understand. But it was
you don't speak a word of Afrikaans?
Not at all. I don't speak the language. I don't understand it. But I challenge, guys. Not every actor can do this, but if you can be in a French film and speak with French people in English, then you're creating a different thing in your mind as an actor. That's what I do every day. I play a lead role there. They speak Afrikaans. To me, I speak English to them. I read my translations, but you know when they say action, all of that flies. You have to be in the moment and listen. Yeah, and all the incredible movies that God has blessed me with, but that's my journey. But I think my journey has always been about really being able to be present and true in every step of the way, and that's my sort of vibe.